Welcome, everyone, to Training Your Thinking. I'm Rick Hawkins, and I'm joined by Josh Reyes today. Glad
Thank
you're
you for
here,
having me,
Josh.
sir.
It's an honor, man. We are on day 13 of Training Your Thinking, 21 days of mental discipline. And Josh would get more and more subscribers.
It's growing. I'm telling you, you need to subscribe to our podcast. First of all, this 21 days is revolutionary for you if you'll just dig into it. But what's coming on the other side of it, you want to be a part of. So subscribe today.
And it's questchurch.com
.com
forward slash
podcast.
podcast. So go to that and also share it with your friends. All right, Josh, thinking ahead. As a young man, my dad taught me the value of thinking ahead. He was a pipeline welder and would hire me as his welder helper. Oh, do I remember those days. If I was not working for him, I was helping a brother, a brother-in-law, or a cousin. They were all welders and all needed a helper. The most important thing to them was time. I cannot describe how often they emphasized these words. Think ahead. I do not want to be waiting on you. This meant I had to always be one step ahead of them. They did not tolerate having to wait on me to prepare materials for when they arrived for the next weld. Thinking ahead is the ability to see what is coming and prepare for it. To think ahead means to think carefully about what might happen in the future or to make plans for things you want to do in the future. In my opinion, this practice works best with predictability.
All right.
You cannot think ahead for unforeseen events, but it's easy to think ahead about the things that are inevitable. What is routine and regimented in our life could become much easier if we plan for them before they arrived.
Wow.
So true. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 6, there's an illustration concerning thinking ahead. It reads like this: You lazy fool. What a way to start. Look at an ant. Watch it closely. Let it teach you a thing or two. Nobody has to tell it what to do. All summer it stores up food. At harvest, it stockpiles provisions. So how long are you going to laze around doing nothing?
Wow.
How long before you get out of the bed? A nap here, a nap there, a day off here, a day off there. Sit back, take it easy. Do you not what comes next?
Wow.
Just this, you can look forward to a dirt poor life,
Wow.
poverty, your permanent house guest. Man, Solomon had a way of saying
He was going after him
Yeah,
right
he
there.
was. In my preaching, I've always followed this thought. I study myself full. I pray myself hot. I think myself happy. And I let myself go. In other words, I'm on fire. It produces a consistency in my preaching in spite of the variables that may arise.
That's good.
Think ahead today. What are the things that you know this day holds for you? Think ahead on how you can better prepare for them to arrive. Understand that there will always be unforeseen circumstances. How will you respond to these potential circumstances, whether they are obstacles, delays, or changes, or direction? Thinking ahead prepares you for optimum performance. Josh, I've had a lot of employees, as you know,
Yes, you have.
over the last many years. There are two guys that stand out to me that has worked for me that have the ability to think ahead better than the rest. And that would be you and
Wow.
one other guy. So I've always respected your ability to know how to prepare and to be ready for unforeseen and predictable things. What are some of your secrets, and give us some thoughts on this idea of thinking ahead? You've got insight into it, obviously.
I think it comes two ways. First, you start off the chapter with it. You
Yeah.
were a welder helper for your dad.
Right.
And so the experience of not being in place with the tool on time
Right.
taught you a lesson,
Yes.
right?
Right.
And so for your experience, you would say that never happened again.
That's right.
So you learn from the experience. A lot of times we get stuck in the rut of not learning from the experience. We're frustrated with whatever happened, or frustrated with ourselves for letting it
Very
down
true.
or not being prepared, that we don't take the time to look at the situation and learn from the experience so that it doesn't happen again. It wasn't that he was mad at you for not being there for himself.
Right.
He couldn't produce in his purpose at that moment had you not been prepared.
That's right.
And so that was a motivating factor in getting done. For that welding, it was probably getting paid,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
But in life, it's bigger than that. And so there's a greater consequence to a lack of preparation. Then secondly, I think it gets real practical. It's being willing to take the time to do two things: understanding your role and responsibility,
Yep.
because your role and responsibility will give you the practicalities of what needs to happen. So it gives you foresight.
Yep.
You know you have to accomplish this, so there are steps to getting that done. And then secondly, doing something as practical as writing it down.
Wow.
If you
Yep.
go onto my computer today or on my phone, I use a very specific app, and I have it may be this long,
Right.
but I have a list of things to do,
Yep.
and they're all prioritized and in order and categorized so that I know what I'm hitting and not hitting.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's helped me over the years is those two things. Number one, learning from experience, and then secondly, writing things down.
That's real good. And learn the people you work for.
That's
Now,
true.
this is going to help you today. We just came out of the staff meeting.
Mm-hmm.
You and I did not talk before the staff meeting over the agenda. We just both went into the staff meeting. We led the staff meeting. And there was probably 15 people in the staff meeting. Well, I find it interesting that if you looked at both of our things to do in that staff meeting, it was almost blueprint duplicate, right?
Yeah.
Because you know me,
Uh-huh.
and you know what I'm going to expect in that staff meeting before I walk in there and sit down. And so to help some of you really with your opportunities for promotion and furthering yourself in your particular realm of employment, get to know the people you work for. What do they want? What are they looking for?
Yeah.
One more thing. You used this word several times in your dialogue just now. The word was frustration. Okay, so flip the coin. From my point of view, there is nothing more frustrating than for me to have to wait on someone. So as I can celebrate you for being prepared all the time, there's nothing that frustrates me more than have an expectation for something to be ready.
That's right.
And it's not ready. So thinking ahead eliminates that word frustration. So I'll leave you with that thought. There's a way to plan. There's a way to foresee things, circumstances, things you can't control. You can still be prepared.
That's right.
Any final thoughts, Josh?
No, sir, this was a great session. Don't miss tomorrow.
It's going to be great. See you tomorrow.